Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Bailey Stroll here at the Ozarks First Digital Desk as we wait for the latest from local agencies to provide an update on the storm recovery efforts from Sunday's severe storms, what we know was a deadly storm. I wanted to provide any updates that I could just as we wait for that stream to start. We know city leaders are preparing right now at the Public Safety Center to provide an update. They did provide us an update earlier today, and so that is the information that we're working off of right now. So I just wanted to get on here before, as we wait for the city leaders, and talk with you all about what we know is going on so far. So this is just some damage that we saw right after the storm blew through on Sunday. We know at the peak, city utilities had 37,000 customers, just customers, households, and businesses out of power following the storm. And at last check, it was sitting a little less than 9,000. So we can go ahead and look at the city utilities outage map here and get an update on that while I try to monitor if the city leaders will begin speaking soon at the Public Safety Center. Here is a look at the outage map. You can see it's very widespread other than the northeastern part of the city. Looks like they have been spared from the major outages, but it's all over the city right now. You can see it has gone down to about 6,800. This is at 3:23 this afternoon, so we're approaching 24 hours since the severe storms hit. And we will be getting the latest, very latest, in just a few minutes from this 3:30 briefing at the Public Safety Center. If you have any damage that you need to report to the Greene County Office of Emergency Management or Springfield city leaders, they are asking residents to report any damage to structures or vehicles by calling this number. If you're listening, I'm sorry, I don't have it up on the screen right now, but it's 417-829-6200. That is to call Springfield-Greene County about any damage to a vehicle or a home. That's 417-829-6200. So we can see the latest in the outages there. I showed you some damage that we saw. We are getting a lot more reports from our crews today out and about trying to speak with people who have been impacted by this storm. Again, the peak was 37,000 city utilities customers Sunday evening. Crews worked through the night to restore power, and when we first got up this morning, it was down to about 9,000 as of about 9 a.m. City Utility says 90 line workers worked overnight to assess and repair the damage. Mutual aid is also coming, but City Utilities is warning of multi-day outages for some people. So for some of these people, unfortunately, you're not going to get your power back on today. That is a real possibility right now. City Utilities says substantial restoration is expected by Thursday, July 3rd, for customers who can safely accept power. That means if your weatherhead has been damaged, of course, you're going to have an electrician come look at it, and City Utilities cannot get power back to your house if your weatherhead has been damaged. So this seems like we're not going to have the outages restored overnight tonight. It might not be Tuesday or Wednesday. We might see all power restored by Thursday. So that's just something to keep in mind as we watch and wait. I know people, have to have a lot of patience in storms like this. It was something that came through very quickly on Sunday and blew through out of here just as fast, but left a lot of damage behind in the meantime. I can see that our city leaders, Bob Dixon, is preparing to speak here at the Public Safety Center for that 3:30 briefing. I will turn up his microphone and so we can hear him, and then I will take him when he's ready, but it looks like they are still preparing. We also know that food relief, a food distribution, will be happening at Ridgecrest Baptist Church. That's happening tonight at 6 to 8 o'clock at Ridgecrest Baptist Church on Republic Road. So if you need food, if you've lost food, if you can't open your fridge right now, please go there and at least get dinner. They will also be there tomorrow. Missouri Baptist will be handing out meals and food tonight from 6 to 8, and then tomorrow from noon until 2, and then again from 5 until 7. So 3 opportunities to get food right now. Also, I saw U-Haul is offering free self-storage, first come, first serve. If you call any of the locations in Branson, Nixa, Ozark, I'm not sure about Nixa, and the ones in Springfield, if you call them and ask and you have been impacted by these storms, they may be able to provide you a free 30-day storage. So there's some relief coming, in the form of food and potential storage. And then again, if you have damage, you should be calling and letting Springfield and Greene County know at the number 829-6200. I can see that they are still preparing for this briefing. We are going to get an update from the City of Springfield, Greene County Emergency Management, city utilities, and Greene County leaders as well. I can see they're preparing, but still bear with us as we wait for them, and I will take their feed. We do have a crew there live, and so we will take our crew's feed as soon as we can. But for now, I'm just trying to get out any information that would be necessary to folks that are dealing with the impacts of these storms. If you have any questions, I can do my best to answer them. Please chime in the comments if you have any questions, and we can try to get some answers for you. Let me see what else I can tell you at the moment. So when it comes to, I'm sorry, I changed my website there. Back to the outages. So when it comes to these outages, customers should report them by calling 888-863-9001. That's to call City Utilities for outages if you don't believe City Utilities is aware of that outage yet. Okay, it looks like Bob Dixon is getting ready to speak, and let's take him now.
As we wrap up, really appreciate what everyone is doing to address the storm that came through yesterday afternoon about 4 o'clock with the straight line winds and very high winds and rain. Sadly, there was one confirmed fatality, which I know has been reported, but we'll have some updates from a number of folks. As far as the overall assessment, we're still working on that with all of our partners, but there was some damage. I spoke with the mayor of Ash Grove last night. There was a little bit of damage in Ash Grove. I know they had one of their city buildings was damaged a little bit. We do still have several folks out of power. Before I invite up Warren Brooks from City Utilities to give us an update there, I'll just mention the latest numbers. Ozark Electric is just under 4,000 still without power. Liberty Electric just under 200, and that's up in the Ash Grove area. They were working late last night on those. And Webster Electric, I just spoke with them a little bit ago, and there are no Greene County customers still without power, but they do have some over in the Hartville area, so it's a little bit out of our region, but that's kind of the overall power map is outside the city of Springfield, but there was considerable damage in the city. So rather than introduce each individual that's going to give an update, I'll just mention the order, and then I'll just ask you all to pass the microphone. First, Warren Brooks is going to give an update for City Utilities and their good work that they've been working on really since the storm came through. And then Dan Smith is going to give us an update from the City of Springfield. I will then ask April Ford to come up and just reiterate some things regarding 911. And then Jenny Edwards is going to talk about the Springfield-Greene County Parks. And then Larry Woods will come up and give us an update on the situation with the Office of Emergency Management. And then to wrap it up, my friend Mayor Jeff Schrag of Springfield will have some remarks, and then we'll go to questions, okay? So at this time, I'll bring up Warren Brooks with City Utilities. Warren?
Thank you. Good afternoon. Once again, we are responding to the impact of severe weather in our community, and City Utilities is continuing around-the-clock efforts to restore power to our customers following yesterday's storm. As of this briefing, approximately 7,000 customers remain without electricity, which is down significantly from the peak of approximately 37,000 outages at around 5 o'clock yesterday. As we work through this restoration, we ask our customers who haven't done so already to report their outage by calling 888-863-9001. This report will help us respond to your outage as quickly as possible. More than 90 line workers worked through the night assessing and repairing damage, and today they're joined by mutual aid crews as well as additional tree and line construction contract crews. Due to the widespread nature and severe nature of this outage, we want to prepare customers for the possibility of extended outages that may last several days. Our current goal is to have substantial restoration completed by Thursday, July 3rd. As a reminder, City Utilities follows its emergency response plan when prioritizing our restoration efforts. I'm pleased to report that power has been restored to all facilities in the Priority 1 category, which includes critical safety locations such as hospitals, emergency, and communications infrastructure. The second priority category of this plan focuses on additional health and safety facilities such as nursing homes, shelters, schools, and the third focuses on high-impact community services such as grocery stores and other businesses, and we are currently working through those next two phases of priorities. From there, we will begin focusing our efforts on areas with the largest number of outages. As a reminder, in order to receive electric service, customers must have a working weatherhead, which is the connection point where power enters the home or the building. We've received several reports of damaged weatherheads throughout our service area, and those repairs must be made by a licensed electrician before we can safely restore service. More guidance is available on our outage safety page at cityutilities.net. We have experienced significant damage to our electric system, including at the John Twitty Energy Center, and are actively assessing the extent of that damage. At this time, we do not anticipate it will limit our ability to power our community. However, if that changes, we will share updates promptly. Finally, we are receiving some reports of natural gas odors. If you smell gas or suspect a leak, or have another emergency to report, such as a downed power line that is arcing or sparking, leave the area immediately, call 911 or City Utilities at 417-863-9000. Do not use phones, light switches, or anything that could cause a spark. We appreciate everyone's patience and cooperation as we work to safely restore community service to our community. Thank you. Now I'll turn it over to Dan Smith.
Thank you, Warren. Good afternoon, and I'm Dan Smith, Director of Public Works for the City of Springfield, and I'll first give an update for Public Works itself. And our street operations and arborist crews have been working through the night to address public safety and roadway clearance needs. Out of 139 tree-related service requests that we have received to this point, we have made 82 of those locations passable. Those are locations where the streets were impacted by trees and other vegetative debris. 25 locations involved down power lines, and we are coordinating closely with City Utilities on those locations to make sure that we can safely remove the vegetative debris and open the streets at those locations. At this time, on our signal network, we do have 7 dark signals on the city system. Many of the Public Works signals and also the MoDOT signals here in town are running off of generators or internal battery backup. So it's very possible to see more dark signals than you see now as we work through the response time. So it's important to treat, as you come up to a signal that's dark, treat it as a 4-way stop so that you can safely traverse that intersection.
So we do want people to be very, very careful, very cautious. I'll give a quick update for environmental services at the City of Springfield as well. So to help support storm recovery, the city will once again waive brush fees at the Yard Waste Recycling Center and Noble Hill Sanitary Landfill beginning Tuesday, July 1st through Saturday, July 26th. So at this time, these facilities will be open during normal operating hours, 8 to 5 Tuesday through Saturday for the YRC, and 7 to 4 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday for the landfill. Both facilities will be closed on Friday, July 4th in observance of Independence Day. As a reminder, with storm debris, including large diameter limbs, tree trunks, and root balls, those need to go to the Yard Waste Recycling Center or the Noble Hill landfill. However, the Franklin Avenue and Lone Pine Avenue recycling drop-off sites, they do accept sticks, leaves, and other organic waste in limited amounts. So you can visit springfieldmo.gov/yardwaste for facility details and material requirements and any additional details on that. I wanted to touch base on how to report storm-related issues to the city and to report downed trees impacting streets and sidewalks. Please call the Citizen Resource Center at 864-1010, so 864-1010. However, I want to touch base just briefly on when to call 911. And so if you are in a situation that's life-threatening, call 911. If you're trapped in your home or vehicle, if there are power lines down in your area that are sparking, smoking, or on fire, if you are having a medical emergency, or if you have lost power and are on oxygen therapy. So those are times when you would want to call 911 versus the Citizen Resource Center. And I'm going to pass the mic to April Ford, Director of 911, to take that further.
Just to reiterate what Dan had said, the 911 center can only take a certain number of calls at the same time based on the personnel that are in the center. And we were, of course, obviously inundated. There was some damage to a T1 line that brings in our 911 calls, so we did have half capacity of 911 calls capable in the center, which meant that our neighboring jurisdictions, Jasper County Emergency Services and Joplin's 911 Center, were taking some of our rollover calls. We all handle our 911 calls the same way. So all 911 calls that were coming in for life safety emergencies or gas lines, smells of gas, arcing, sparking, lines, power lines down, any of that information that was being relayed into the center was being entered in and dispatched out as quickly as possible. Between 4 p.m. and 11 p.m., we took 1,398 calls for service in our 911 center, but that is not Jasper County and Joplin's calls. So we just wanted to reiterate and make sure that everybody is aware of that, and thank you to the citizens for their patience while calling 911, because I know that sometimes the lines would ring a few times before somebody would answer, where they're used to hearing us answer immediately, but it was an unprecedented situation with all the calls coming in. So thank you, and I'd like to pass this off to Jenny Edwards.
Thanks, April. Hi, I'm Jenny Edwards. I'm the Public Information Administrator with the Springfield-Greene County Park Board, and I have the update on parks. Our crews are continuing to assess and clean up damage from the storm, mostly downed trees and limbs. The affected parks are mostly south of Chestnut Expressway. That's kind of the opposite from the April 29th storm, which was more of an impact on our north side parks. Dan Kinney Family Center is now reopened following an overnight power outage, and River Cut Golf Course will reopen tomorrow. Horton Smith Golf Course remains closed due to a power outage, and several trees are down on that golf course. At Fast Night Park, a tree has fallen on the handball court. That is closed until repairs can be made. Fast Night, Nathaniel Green, Close Memorial, Ray Kelly, and Jenny Lincoln Parks had the heaviest damage. Sequiota, Rutledge Wilson Farm Park, Phelps Grove Park, and Cruise Dog Park also have moderate tree damage, and several other locations have minor damage. Aside from the golf courses, the good news is all parks and trails are open today. Please be safe and avoid any areas with damage, especially where the crews are working. Please keep your kids off of downed trees or limbs. It's not a place to play. And please be very cautious on greenway trails. There may be storm debris or limbs on the trail. We are, as I said before, still assessing damage. We're posting updates on the Park Board Facebook page, and if you have storm damage to report in parks, we would love for you to send us a photo and a location of that to the Park Board Facebook page or through Park Board Instagram, or you may call the Parks office during business hours at 417-864-1049, 864-1049. Be safe out there in your parks, and thank you very much. And now I'm introducing Larry Woods.
Thank you, Jenny. I'm Larry Woods. I'm the Emergency Management Director for the city and the county. Well, it's quite obvious that we are still in severe weather season. You would think by this time of the year we would be well into our hot and dry time of the year, but that is not the case. I do want to remind folks that you need to have multiple ways of receiving watches and warnings for severe weather, whether that's no weather radio, whether that's severe weather apps on your mobile device, or your wireless emergency alerting button turned on your mobile devices. All of these are good ways to be able to receive watches or warnings any time of the day or night. I do want to say that if you're outdoors, outdoor warning sirens are a good way of receiving these warnings as well. Keep in mind, however, in the case of power outages, some of these outdoor warning sirens may be in standby phase waiting for those power restorations to occur. So it's always a good idea to have multiple ways of receiving watches and warnings. As Commissioner Dixon had mentioned, we do have damage assessment teams out in the field as we speak. But for people who want to report damage, we ask that they contact our Public Information Call Center at 417-829-6200, 417-829-6200. And they can report their damage to those operators. We're especially looking for any structural damage that may have occurred as well. That call center will be open from 8 to 4 tomorrow, and then we'll assess moving forward from there. We do want to also advise that from a mass care standpoint, the Missouri Baptist Disaster Relief Team, beginning tonight, will establish a meal distribution drive-through at Ridgecrest Baptist Church, which is located at 2210 West Republic Road. Now, this is a drive-through style of meal distribution, so you won't get out of your car, you'll just drive through and they'll hand you the meals. Tonight, the hours are from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Tomorrow, they'll be serving lunch from noon to 2, and then dinner from 5 to 7. Again, that's at Ridgecrest Baptist Church on Republic Road. The meals are free, no identification or registration is required. If there are questions, contact the Missouri Baptist Relief Team at 573-415-3660. 415-3660. And now I would like to bring up Mayor Schwab for his final comment.
Thank you very much. As we conclude this event, let me put a couple of things in perspective. So 23 hours ago, pretty much right now, there were 37,000 outages around Springfield and Greene County. And we're down now, we just heard, to 7,000 outages. That's pretty amazing. That's 30,000 outages that were taken care of by the diligent folks at City Utilities, by Public Works, by our folks at the county, our friends of the county. All these people who came together, highly professional people who came together, worked overnight, worked in the morning, worked when they're tired, worked when they didn't want to, because they have professionalism in their heart. And that's the type of people I work with every day at the city of Springfield and along with our partners at Greene County. So thank you all so much for everything that you have done. The professional people, again, at City Utilities, at Public Works, our traffic department, the county highway department. It's very, very truly amazing. The city voted City Council, voted a couple of weeks ago to make some additional funds available to help with the April 29th wind event. We were just in the process of announcing that help when this new wind event happened, and so certainly those help programs and what the city is doing will be made available to you in the coming days, and then council will continue to evaluate what we need to do as a city and a region to recover from these two events that happened so quickly. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all of my good co-workers at the city and Greene County and city utilities who have come together to help their neighbors. And also to all the neighbors out there. We just heard about the food that's available, neighbors helping neighbors. That's the best thing that we have in the city of Springfield and Greene County, and I'm just grateful to be part of it. I'll turn it back over to Commissioner Dixon for press questions.
Thank you, Mayor, and we'll just echo what the mayor said. Appreciate everyone's great work. Appreciate the information too on what council did on the assistance, and I will invite Larry Woods. You might want to speak to the SBA thing that's going on before we take questions, kind of in tandem with that. And then if you do have questions, we'll take those.
Thank you, Commissioner Dixon. Yes, we do have, as a result of the April 29th storm, our county was approved for a small business administration declaration. And these are low-interest loans that folks can apply for to receive aid and assistance for damages that they may have had as a result of the April 29th storm. Could be lost revenue from businesses. There's just a various amount of different types of programs that they can help to fund. You do not have to be a business to apply. It is open to individual families and citizens, as well as businesses and not-for-profits. So certainly would encourage folks to come and check that out. They're located here at the Greene County Public Safety Center, 330 West Scott Street. They'll be here for the next couple of weeks. You do not need an appointment to come in. However, they will take appointments if need be. So just encourage everyone who is affected by the April 29th storm to come in and at least inquire as to whether or not they would qualify.
Thanks. Questions? Yes.
With the hot summer weather coming up again, are there any concerns with extended outages as it may get really hot later in the week? And how do you plan to address that in any way?
There have been some discussions, and I'll ask Larry Woods to take that question.
Yes, we're assessing the need for cooling centers. We have spoke with our partners at City Utilities, and I'll let Warren address any outage issues or concerns with regard to that. But we are monitoring the cooling center need. Right now, the temperatures are staying manageable. That, along with the fact that the electric companies are doing such a really phenomenal job of restoring power, is really helping us out in that regard. So we're looking at balancing those two things out. As the power comes on, the need for the cooling centers, drops dramatically. So that is something we're keeping an eye on. Warren, I don't know if you have anything additional.
You covered it well.
Okay, very good.
And I'll just add, we do appreciate our partners that offered space, and if that need arises, we'll certainly be in contact with them. Other questions? Yes, sir.
If I understood correctly, there was significant damage to the power plant itself. Maybe a little elaboration on that. And also, I'm a little confused, how can that be? And that, I also heard that doesn't really affect bringing everyone back online.
So a couple things with that. Thank you for the question. So at this point, it is extensive damage to one of the cooling towers at the plant. We've had crews on site today assessing the extent of that, so I really don't have much more to give in terms of details at this point. So to your second question about is that ability to serve the city, so we're part of an interconnected network and a regional transmission organization called SPP. That's a grid that extends from North Dakota to Texas. We're interconnected with them. So the benefit of being interconnected with them is that if we have a problem with one of our units, we're still connected to the bigger electric grid where we can import power. Works both ways. Sometimes some of our neighbors have generator problems and ours are running, so it's kind of a two-way flow.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you all very much, and again, thanks to all of our partners, everybody working so hard yet again, and let's hope this is it for a while.
No more 29th.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, that is the latest update from our city, county, and area leaders and the agencies working very hard right now to bring us some answers and get our power restored. Let's go through what they discussed over the past few minutes. A lot of information coming at you guys right now, so I tried to write down the most pressing things. So as of 3 p.m., 7,000 customers are without power still in Springfield. That's down 30,000 from the peak of 37,000 as we approach 24 hours later. So great work being done by city utilities. But of course, those 7,000 that are still without power are probably getting very antsy right now to get their power restored. There are mutual aid crews in town arriving to help out, as well as tree removal companies and other aid to help out our crews and to get the power restored fully. But again, they are saying it could be multiple days. We could not see full restoration until possibly on Thursday. So there is relief being offered in the form of food right now at Ridgecrest Baptist Church. We talked about that, 6 to 8 tonight, noon to 2 tomorrow, and 5 to 7 tomorrow as well. That's 2210 West Republic Road. It is drive-through. You don't have to get out of your car in order to receive that food. Power has been restored to all of the hospitals, emergency and communications facilities in our area. So now they are working on the next tier down, and that would include more very critical facilities in our area, nursing homes, and then working their way down to things like grocery stores, and then it will be the more residential areas after that. One thing that we did learn is that the John Twitty power station in Springfield has apparently suffered significant damage. One of the cooling towers has been significantly damaged. City Utilities does not expect that to hinder our ability to power the city, because we are on that Southwest Power Pole grid. And so if we need to, we can import power from our partners. So yes, they are still assessing the damage and figuring out the impact to us, but it doesn't look like there will be any major power impacts due to that cooling tower being damaged. If you are having to get out and drive today, if you're heading home from work, be aware there are at least 7 dark signals, dark stoplights, intersections in Springfield still right now at this hour. Others are running on generators or backup battery power, so those could be flickering or flashing or black as well. Make sure to treat those as a 4-way stop. Again, at least 7 signals that are down in Springfield at certain intersections. So we talked about the food. The city is also waiving the brush fees again, like they did before for the April 29th storms. Now here we are again from the June 29th storms, and they are going to waive the fees for the Yard Waste Recycling Center in the Brookline area. You can go there and drop off your branches and your brush for free. If it's larger things like root balls, you need to take that to the Noble Hill landfill. They are also waiving the fees. That starts tomorrow and goes until July 26th. We also got an update from Springfield-Greene County 911 Communications, April Ford, telling us that one of their, I would say, connectors was damaged, the way that they receive 911 calls. And so they were they had only about half of their calls coming through into Springfield at one time last night. So Joplin and Jasper County had to pick up those calls for us. So grateful for that. And the calls were being answered. She did apologize if some calls were ringing a little bit before they were being answered. But just between what the calls coming in, even with that damage, the calls coming in to the Springfield-Greene County 911 Center from 4 p.m. until 11 p.m. last night, they answered nearly 1,400 calls to 911, and that's even with some of the damage and some calls not going through. That does not include the calls that were taken by dispatchers in Joplin and Jasper County. So incredible work by people that know what to do in these situations and are trained to do it and just do their job so well. We heard Jeff Schrog say, these are professionals, and that includes anybody that's on the ground, tree removal services, emergency services, EMTs, firefighters, police, and that includes our very, very brave dispatchers in the 911 center as well. That is mostly what I wrote down. Dan Kenny is now open after suffering power outages. There is a tree down in Fast Night, but all parks and trails in Springfield are open. It might be tricky to get through to some because of the trees that are down, but they are open at this point. Some of the golf courses are not because of downed trees. There are no cooling centers being offered at the moment, but that's because the weather has not been or is not expected to reach above 90 degrees. The temperatures are not until later this week. So if necessary, the city and the county said that they might open those up, but as of now, no cooling centers available, but there is relief in the form of that food and then the brush and debris removal. We'll be sure to keep you updated if they do end up opening some cooling centers or offering some more relief to folks. I think that's all. And Jeff Schrog did say that more help could be made available in the coming days. So be sure to watch for updates. Go back and with this web story that we have pinned on our Facebook page and in our web story for those phone numbers that you need to call to let city utilities know of an outage or to report damage to a building or vehicle to the city or the county. We have those in this web story in this right now and as well as on our Facebook page. So that does it for me right now. We are going to have our crews have been out all day and they continue to be trying to get video, trying to talk to people impacted and get an update from the people that are working so hard right now. So we will be sure to bring you more tonight on Ozarks First, Color 10 at 5 and 6, KRBK at 6:30, KRBK at 9, and then again on Color 10 at 10. So be sure to tune in live tonight at 5 for the very latest if you're able. And we will try to get those updates if you're not able to watch live because you don't have power. Be sure to check back on our Facebook page as we try to bring you the very latest information. This is changing minute to minute. Right before I go, let me see if I can show you the very latest updated numbers on the city utilities outage map. And it's not going to work for me. It doesn't look like. It said it was close to 7,000. So yeah, that information is correct. It looks like it's up to date. And we will bring you another update again tonight at 5. Hope to see you then. Thanks for joining us and stay safe out there.